Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it.
Thanksgiving that year came with a cruel chill that sliced through my thin coat as I stood on my father's porch, clutching the cheap pie I'd bought to pretend I belonged. Grandpa Douglas's unexpected call still echoed in my head. "Come see me, Lana. I'm at your new house. I can't wait to see your face." My house. My hands trembled as I stepped inside. The dining room was golden with candlelight, the scent of roast turkey and sweet potatoes wrapping around me like a lie. Grandpa sat at the head of the table, eyes bright as stars when he saw me. "Lana," he boomed, rising to pull me into his warm, cedar-scented hug. For one perfect heartbeat, I was his little girl again. "Sit, sweetheart." He lifted his glass, face beaming. "Everyone, a toast." "Lana, do you love your new house?" The entire table froze. Maxwell, my father, choked on his wine. Riley's fork clattered to her plate. My half-brother Adrian didn't even look up from his phone. I forced a brittle smile. "Grandpa, I don't live here. I'm still in my old apartment." The room seemed to shrink around us. Grandpa's gaze darted between me and Maxwell, thunder gathering behind his eyes. "What did you say?" My father's mouth twitched. "Dad, she's confused." "Confused?" Grandpa's voice cut like a knife. "Maxwell, I sent you money for years. I bought this house for my granddaughter, not for you to prance around like kings." Riley cleared her throat. "Dad, listen." "No, you listen." Grandpa roared, fists clenched. "Did you think I'd never find out? You let Lana live in that dump while you stole her home." I felt the eyes of every neighbor and cousin at that table boring into me. Pity, shock, maybe even glee. But all I saw was Grandpa's heartbreak and my father's cowardice. In that split second, the lie that had ruled my life cracked open, and I knew nothing would ever be the same again. After that Thanksgiving, I couldn't stop replaying the years that led me here, the years they hoped I'd forget. I was 7 when my mother's light slipped away in a sterile hospital room I was never allowed to enter. I remember standing in the hallway, my tiny fingers pressed to the glass, watching my father, Maxwell, sit motionless by her bed. When he finally turned to me, his eyes were hollow, like he'd emptied all his love into the grave with her. Within a year, Riley moved in, all painted lips and sharp smiles. She brought her son, Adrian, a cherubic boy with dimples and a laugh that melted my father's grief in ways I never could. I tried to stay small, to earn a scrap of what Adrian got so freely, but there was always a wall between us. Adrian got the new bike for Christmas. I got a sweater that smelled of mothballs. He got praise for cease while my eyes were shrugged off with, "Don't get cocky, Lana." I still hear Riley's voice dripping sweet poison. "Lana, be grateful. This house, your father worked so hard to keep you here." I'd nod, hugging my hand-me-down books to my chest, pretending I didn't see the new gaming console they bought Adrian that same week. One night when I was 15, I found Dad counting thick envelopes at the kitchen table. "Is that Grandpa's money?" I asked. He flinched, then glared at me like I'd kicked him. "Mind your place, Lana." I learned to keep my place. The attic became my sanctuary. A tiny room with peeling wallpaper and a window that rattled in the wind. Some nights I'd lie awake, whispering to the darkness, "One day I'll get out." But in that house, dreams felt like lies I'd told myself just to survive another day. I didn't even have time to pack properly. After Grandpa's voice thundered across that Thanksgiving table, the rest of the evening blurred like a nightmare I'd finally woken from. "Go get your things, Lana," Grandpa Douglas said, his tone leaving no room for argument. My father, Maxwell, didn't dare look at me. He just stared at the half-carved turkey, his hands trembling. Riley whispered a protest, but Grandpa silenced her with a single glare. Up in my attic room, I sat on the creaky bed one last time, stuffing clothes into a tattered duffel. Each shirt felt like a piece of my old life I couldn't wait to shed. My hands shook when I picked up the tiny framed photo of Mom, the only thing they hadn't stolen. Grandpa waited at the foot of the stairs. He placed a warm, steady hand on my shoulder. "You're coming with me to San Francisco, Lana. You'll never sleep in an attic again." In his car, the world outside turned to streaks of headlights and rain. I pressed my forehead to the cold window, watching my father's house, my house, fade into the darkness behind me. At the hotel that night, Grandpa ordered me hot cocoa, like I was 5 again. He sat across from me at the tiny table, his eyes wet but fierce. I trusted him, Lana. All these years, the money, the house, it was for you. I swallowed the knot in my throat. It doesn't matter anymore, Grandpa. I'm just glad you're here. He leaned forward, voice low. No, it does matter. I'm going to sue him. I'll take back what's yours, and I'll cut them off for good. His vow hung between us like a shield. For the first time, I believed that I was more than what they told me I was. That night, I lay under crisp hotel sheets, staring at the ceiling. I whispered to the dark, I won't waste this second chance. I swear, I'll become someone they can't ever ignore again. San Francisco felt like stepping into another world. The first morning, Grandpa walked me through the hallways of his townhouse, sunlight flooding through tall windows, a new bed with clean sheets that didn't sag under my weight. No mildew, no attic smell. Do you like it? He asked, watching me run my fingers along the walnut desk. I nodded, my throat tight. It's perfect, Grandpa. A week later, I stood in line at the university admissions office, clutching my acceptance letter like it was made of gold. Hotel business management, the dream I'd tucked away while Adrian got everything handed to him. Classes were hard. I'd missed years of confidence building they'd poured into my brother. But each night I stayed late in the library, scribbling notes until my fingers cramped. Grandpa sometimes waited outside campus with a bag of pastries. You're working too hard, Lana, he'd say, passing me a paper cup of tea. I have to, I'd reply. I won't waste the life you gave back to me. Meanwhile, the lawsuit crawled through the courts. Maxwell tried to paint himself as a victim, claiming misunderstandings, false receipts. But every lie made Grandpa angrier. When the judge ruled the house would be sold and the money returned to me, I felt a crack in the walls they'd built around my worth. One rainy afternoon, Grandpa and I stood outside the sold house, its empty windows staring back like hollow eyes. It's just a house, Lana, Grandpa said, slipping his arm around my shoulders. Your real home is the one you're building now. I pressed my palm to the cold brick one last time. Goodbye, I whispered. Walking away, I didn't look back. The bitterness they fed me all my life was nothing compared to the freedom blooming under my ribs. I was no longer the shadow in someone else's story. This time, the story was mine. A year and a half has passed. It was almost spring when the letter arrived. A plain envelope with my father's unmistakable, trembling handwriting. Lana, we're losing the apartment. Adrian dropped out. Riley's sick with worry. We have nothing left. Please help us. Your family. I read it twice, then folded it back up, my fingers oddly steady. For years I'd prayed for these words, an apology, a plea, but now they tasted like ash. That evening, I called Grandpa. He sat across from me at the cafe, stirring his tea. Going to help them? He asked, voice calm but eyes sharp. I shook my head. When I was 15, I asked Dad for $20 for a school trip. He said there was no money. Then bought Adrian a new bike. They watched me grow up in an attic while they pocketed the life you built for me. Grandpa nodded, approving. This is your chance, Lana. A clean cut. They made their bed. They can lie in it. The next morning, Adrian showed up outside my campus. His eyes were dull, shoulders hunched. Lana, please, he whispered. We're your family. I looked at my brother, the golden boy, now just a ghost. You made sure I never had a family, Adrian. Now you learn how to stand on your own. I turned away before he could reply. The wind off the bay was cold, but inside me a warmth glowed, stronger than any lie they'd ever told. I was free, truly free, and as I stepped into the sunlit street, I knew I'd never look over my shoulder again.
Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.